Hey guys, I am back with another Bible study. Today we are going to start where we kind of left off at Numbers 14. So at the end of yesterday's video, we were talking about how the Israelites were in fear of going into the land of Canaan because of all the giants in the land, and that they were not walking in faith. Reading on in that same chapter, they were actually right here. It says that they were, but so after they made their case against Joshua and Moses, Joshua and Moses then told them, "Fear not. This is the Lord's going to give it to us." And they were so mad about what they were telling them, Joshua and Moses, that they made stones. They took up stones because they were about to stone them for what they did. And the Lord saw this, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation. He actually, I don't know how he appeared to them, but I'm assuming, it was a way that there was no doubt that this was the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be before they believe me? And for all the signs I have showed them." We talked yesterday look at all the stuff he did for these people, and they still refuse to believe. They still walk in fear rather than faith. "I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of you a greater nation and mightier than they." And Moses said to the Lord, "Then the Egyptians shall hear it, for you brought up these people, and you are might from among them. And they will tell their inhabitants of the land, for they heard that the Lord are among his people, and the Lord have seen face to face, and that the cloud stands over them and goes before them by day, and a pillar and a cloud and a pillar of fire by night. Now, if you shall kill these people as one man, then the nations which have heard of the fame of you will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring the people into the land which he swore to them, therefore he slain them in the wilderness. And now I beseech you, let the power of the Lord be great, according to you spoken, saying, the Lord is long-suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilt, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Pardon, I beseech thee, the iniquity of the people, according to the greatness of your mercy, and you have forgiven this people from Egypt even unto now." And the Lord said, "I have pardoned according to this word." So what he said, so basically, just like I said yesterday, Moses is interceding for the people of Israel and their sins once again. The Lord was ready to get rid of them right then and there. He was ready to destroy them because he'd had enough. He'd had absolutely enough. They were about to stone Joshua and Moses, and I think maybe Caleb too. And he'd had it. He'd had it. But Moses interceded for them. That might have even been a test for Moses, for him to intercede for them, as much as anything else. He might have been testing Moses there. You never know. But anyway. So due to Moses' intercession, he pardons them. And but as with all sins, just because he's forgiven them doesn't mean that there won't be punishment. There's always going to be a punishment when you hold your fist against the Lord. So, because all those men which have seen my glory and my miracles, which I did in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have tempted me now these 10 times, have not listened to my voice, surely they shall not see the land which I swore unto their fathers, neither shall any of them that provoked me see it. So he's already said, you are not seeing this land because of your sins, because of what you have done. But my servant Caleb, because he has another spirit within him than those in Israel. That's what it means. And he has followed me fully. I will bring him into the land, and he shall possess it. So tomorrow will turn you and get you into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea. And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation which murmur against me? Complain. I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, for they murmur against me. Murmur is complaining, as I just said. That's what it means. And we all complain, don't we? We complain about our jobs. We complain about the weather. We complain about food. We complain about service. We complain about... But see, when you complain about something, it just shows... I mean, and we all have moments of weakness. I mean, I'm not saying I don't complain about things sometimes. It's tough. Even Moses complained, mostly about the Israelites. And it's hard to really mention as far as what you should do about it. But I would say if you have something that you want to complain about, try and mention your point, but then leave it at that. Paul said, if you have a differing opinion of something, only go into it twice. Say it, state your opinion. State it again, just to show that this is what you mean, and then leave it, so that no strife forms with you and anyone else. Complaining is very similar. Complaining is usually when you just don't like something, and you are just dead set against it, and you're going to let everyone know about it, and you just become so striving against what you're complaining about. And it's okay to be against things that you don't agree with, but when it gets to the point where that's all you're doing is complaining, all you're doing is striving against this thing, it becomes very, very burdensome, if you will, toxic. And not only were these people complaining, they're complaining against the things the Lord was putting forth, which is a million times worse. But I mean, we all have issues with complaining, but controlling that complaining to where it doesn't become burdensome and toxic is a big deal. Obviously, I don't want to complain at all, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes something happens and it's hard to control. It really, truly is. But don't let it rule you. Okay, don't let it be something that's the forefront of what you're doing. Like, a lot of people complain about the election. A lot of people complain about the vaccines. Yes, that's okay, because again, we have to stand up for what we believe in, but we have to do it in love. And if you're complaining about something ruthlessly, that's not love. And I'm right there with y'all. I gotta learn this the hard way as well. So we got to keep growing in Christ, everyone. Okay. Anyway. So basically, this is the Lord judging the Israelites, saying they're going to be in the wilderness, and you're not going to inherit the land. Many are going to die in the wilderness. And I believe it was 40 years that they were in the wilderness. Yep, there it is. 40 years they were in the wilderness when the promised land of Israel was right in front of them, and their fear would not let them enter. And they complained about it. They complained that they were brought to this land. They complained about the Lord bringing them to this land. And they complained about Moses and Aaron following this. And they are judged 40 years, and many died. Many thousands died because of this. This is what happens when you go against the Lord's will because of fear. Okay. Even though it's died of blood. So the people that died in the wilderness died of many things. It was some by beast, some by plague, some by pestilence, some by starvation, some by dehydration. I mean, you name it, they died of it. And that was the judgment of the Lord, because they would not turn to him and walk in faith. And they rose up early in the morning, got them to the top of the mountain, saying, Lo, here we be here, and go up into the place which the Lord had promised us, for we have sinned. So at least they acknowledge their sin, I guess. And Moses said, Wherefore now do you transgress the commandments of the Lord, but it shall not prosper. Go not up, for the Lord is not among you, that you be smitten before your enemies. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you shall be fall by the sword, because you have turned away, and the Lord will not be with you. Okay. So it looks like this is more offerings and sacrifices. Okay. And the priest shall make atonement for all the congregation of Israel, for it shall be forgiven unto them, for it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering and sacrifice for their sin, offering for the Lord for their ignorance. And we do sin in ignorance a lot. A lot. I mean, that's why it's so important to always pray for forgiveness of sins and constantly, because there's so many things that are sinful that we do in ignorance. And we have no idea. Like, there are people out there who preach sinless perfection, saying, once you're born again, you never sin. And I'm sorry. I mean, I agree with the principle of the message. I don't know if I've gone over this before, but just in case I haven't, I agree with the principle of that message. I think we should all strive to be perfect and sinless, like Jesus was. But I'm also being realistic and saying there are so many things that cause you to sin that just because you don't think you've sinned doesn't mean you didn't. And I mean, let me explain it. Like, here's an example of what I mean. So I was at work last week, and what I do is I'm kind of like Matthew. I'm sort of like a tax collector, but I assess things that need to be taxed, and then so on and so forth. So what I work with as far as taxes is vehicle related. So I work for the county, and the county assesses taxes on vehicles. I have to put on what the proper vehicle is and assess taxes on it. So basically, what I did here, there was a person that came in with a title, and I didn't realize that they were doing this for someone else. They were taking care of their business, and I had the title wasn't signed by the appropriate party, but not realizing that they were a different person. I wasn't paying attention. It was my fault, totally. I had them sign the title, and then right after they signed it, I realized, oh great, this isn't the same person. Which is, I mean, let's say it as it is. It's fraud when you sign someone else's when you sign someone else's name. Now, I couldn't send them away at that point in my spirit, because it was my fault. I told them to sign the title. Now, should they have said, this isn't me? Yes, absolutely. They should have said right then and there, I'm not this person, but that didn't happen, obviously. But I had no choice but to continue working on it, because I mean, what could I have done in that situation? It was already done. It wasn't like I could stop them. I mean, how can I send them away in that situation and say, well, now you got to there was just no way. It was impossible. So I went and took it. But in my mind, that is a sin because I told someone to sign someone else's title unknowingly, ignorantly. And your opinion of that's not sin might. Hey, I think that was a sin, and I seek forgiveness of it. But that's how easy it is to sin. Despite that. Now, someone that preaches sinless perfection that happens to them, they might not think it's a sin. But it's just, sinless perfection is just, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it's just a really difficult doctrine because, like I said, there's so many ways you can sin. And the New Testament states over and over again the battle with sin. Why would born-again believers need to hear about a battle against sin when supposing we all convert and become, believers and get baptized and all that? Why would we have to hear that if we're sinless? It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, moving on. So this is just going through some of the sacrifices for people that sin ignorantly, all the offerings. So I will go ahead and move on here. So this is where a couple of, well, not a couple of people, but a group of people went up to Moses and Aaron and said, "You're doing too much." And they think that they are basically, they're saying that Moses and Aaron have put themselves above the rest of the congregation. And right when they said that, Moses heard it and fell upon his face in humility. When you do this, when you fall upon your face, that is a sign of humility. Saying, I'm not above anyone else. Why would, no. And this is the proof of that. He doesn't say it with words. He says it with his actions. He falls on his face. That is a sign of true humility. If he said, why would you say that? I'm not above you. That's not, that's just words. You got to prove it with your actions. That works by faith. And that's why Moses is proven to righteousness. He's justified in his faith because he proves it, which James mentioned as well. And he spake unto Korah and all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord will show you who are his, and who is holy, and who will cause him to come near unto him, and who he chooses to come near to him. This do take you since Korah and all his company, and put therein incense. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy, and you take too much upon you, sons of Levi. And Moses said to Korah, Here I pray you, sons of Levi, seeing that a small thing that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel to bring you near to himself, and to do the service of the tabernacle, and to stand before the congregation. He has brought you near to him, and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with you, and seek you the priesthood also. Okay, so so 250 people. Okay. So basically, this group of 250 people are telling Moses that we're all holy. So why are you raising yourself up above us, which are holy? And Moses fell down in humility and said, "The Lord chooses who is holy, and who will take leadership, basically." But there's a lot of people in this world that do exactly what Korah is talking about. where they put themselves in a higher place as an authority figure. And yeah, think of I don't know about the prosperity preachers. I know there's a lot of those, but I think they're like Joel Osteen. I mean, he's kind of one of those types that kind of puts himself on a pedestal. The Pope, obviously, even though that's another matter entirely. But there are some people that are like that, where even though they just put themselves on a pedestal, and they just, it's a tough deal. But you'll know those who do not do that, because they'll humble themselves as Moses did in true reverence to the Lord, and they will put themselves into the dust, because that's how you do it. Okay, I think it is about a good ending point, so I will cut it off here, and I will see you all next week. God bless you guys. Peace.